Today I'm going to do a project that I've been putting off for a very long time, and that is I'll be installing this lithium battery into my camper. Well, hello friends, my name is Mike and welcome back to Nowhere Bound. Now, I've been using an AGM battery in my camper since it was new, and that's been about 2 years up till now. The AGM has done well, but AGM batteries have certain limitations. They're not very efficient, they're very, very heavy, and you really can't use them past 50% without doing some damage. The other thing about the AGM is that the voltage varies depending on the load that you're putting on it. So if I'm drawing a lot of power and the refrigerator kicks on, it could momentarily drop that voltage below 12 volts. And with the refrigerator I had at that time, it would shut off randomly as a protection because it detected that low voltage. I won't have that problem anymore with this lithium battery. It delivers a smooth, steady stream of current without any weird voltage spikes or dips. The battery is Bluetooth capable, which means you can use the LiTime app to connect to your battery, and it gives you all kinds of real-time information, including the current capacity, the amount of power consumption, as well as the state of the battery cells and the battery management system, the current temperature of the battery, the number of cycles, and a lot more. It's actually a really nice app. So long story short, now with this lithium battery, if I get into a situation where I have limited sun for recharging, I'll know how much energy I have left. There's no guesswork. So just really quickly, I'll tell you about some of the other features of the battery. As you can see, it's a 140 amp hours. That equals about 1800 watts, watt hours of power, which is a decent amount of power for a battery this size and weight. It has over 20 built-in protections against things like temperature, hot and cold. It has overload protection. It has an auto recovery feature. If you run the battery out completely and it just dies, it will recover itself in an intelligent way. It's also waterproof, dustproof, salt-proof, all kinds of proofs, and I intend to prove that to you. Man, there is all kinds of activity across the street, and it's distracting me a little. If you hear chainsaws, I apologize. So anyway, without further ado, let's get this thing in the camper. Now, before I actually do the install and wire it up and all that stuff, I'm curious about the trailer weight, specifically the tongue weight and the amount of sag on the rear suspension of the Jeep, because this is a third the weight of my AGM battery. This weighs about 25 pounds. The AGM is close to 80 pounds. So I'm excited to see how much sag is reduced with this lighter battery. I'll take some photographs to show the before and after. So let's get to work and see how it goes. Look, one hand. It's nothing. So the AGM battery is still in the tongue box. I don't think I'm going to need this stupid giant 30 amp cable anymore. The bane of my existence. I want it out of my life. I've got a trick up my sleeve to install this battery with a simple charging solution. I do have solar on the camper, but I'm going to rig up a plug on the side of the tongue box as well. So let's get to it. First things first, so I'm going to take a couple measurements. And let me take this off of here for now. Get the tape measure. Okay, so on the Victron app for the solar charger, I'm going to go ahead and turn that off for safety reasons. Charger will be disabled and battery will stop charging. This is intended for maintenance purposes only. Okay, that is what we want. So we should be good to swap out that battery now. Okay, here goes nothing. I'm going to try to lift this thing out of here. This is close to 80 pounds. They're not light. Oh man, that is one heavy battery. All right, before I connect anything and do any wiring, I'm just going to set this in here to see what the sag amount is. I was curious to see if there was any less trailer sag with the lighter lithium battery versus the AGM battery. When I took the measurement, the difference was negligible. However, when I zoom in on the trailer hitch, you can see there's a very slight increase in sag with the AGM. There's really virtually no difference. There's 50 pounds less weight in the tongue box, which is certainly a good thing. So maybe it'll improve gas mileage. Don't know, we'll see. All right, so the next thing I want to do is just get the Jeep out of here to give us a little more room to work. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, that's off. The old battery that was in there, I didn't even have it in a battery box or anything. It was just sitting in here. It probably wasn't the smartest thing to just have a battery floating around in there, but the battery's so heavy that it was like an anchor. It really wasn't going to bounce around. I need to install a battery box in here because the lithium battery is a lot lighter. There's much more of a chance that it can get moved around and banged around in there. And I don't want to worry about damaging the battery in the process. Plus I want to weatherproof it a little bit. And I have a trick that I'm going to do to also try to keep it warm if I'm camping below freezing temperatures. It's pretty dirty in here. First thing I'm going to do is clean it out. I'm just going to wipe it down. I might as well take the gas tank out too because it'll just be good to have plenty of room. Tub of towels, heavy duty cleaning wipes. And they smell really nice too. Going into my third year, and I think I have 2/3 of the propane still left in the original propane bottle. I've only used 1/3 of a tank in 2 years. Just because I use it for cooking. That's it. All right, this doesn't need to be food grade quality in here. Just enough so that I'm not embarrassed if somebody looks in here, and that'll be fine. So this is the battery box I'll be using. It's a Camco. It fits series 27, 30, and 31. And this battery is a group 31, so should fit just fine. Actually, I did test it and it does fit, but I'm just going to place it in the tongue box. I just want to get a general idea of where a good place would be to connect this. I'm going to secure this into the box with some self-tapping screws and just go right through the plastic box into the aluminum. Okay, I'm not going to run them all the way in yet because I want to put a dab of silicone in each hole, help prevent some moisture getting in there with the battery, because if moisture gets in there, it'll probably live in there for a while. So now I got to find some silicone. I put a piece of cardboard and Mylar insulation at the bottom of the box. My theory is that this will help prevent the temperature of the aluminum from affecting the temperature of the battery. Okay, I got it in the box. It's all wired up. We're going to connect the battery to the camper now. Switch. And let's see if we have lights. All right, it's alive. We have power. LiTime was very kind enough to send me this lithium battery charger as well. And it comes with this handy plug and these ring terminals, which we're going to take care of that right now. I have other plans for this, so sorry LiTime, I do appreciate it, but I'm about to butcher your charger. Okay, we're going to wire this up with something else. So I just happen to have this SAE connector, I think that's what it's called. This is left over from an old motorcycle battery charger. There's a battery tender that I used to have, and I don't use it anymore. So we're going to repurpose it to use with our new lithium battery. We're going to cut these ring terminals off. Actually, I'm going to leave a little slack because I might use these terminals again. And it conveniently has a fuse on there already, 15 amp fuse. And I notice I'm looking up all the time. That's because these are bifocals. I'm getting old, so to see things close up, I'm doing this. I'm not putting my nose up at you. I'm reading and seeing. So anyway, we're going to wire this up to our charger now. As I'm chopping up my brand new battery charger, let me just offer a quick disclaimer. The manual states that you are not supposed to do this. But in my case, I'm confident that what I'm doing is going to be safe. I have fuses on all the lines between connections. The wire are the proper gauge, and I'm only using a 10 amp charger. If the charger were greater than 10 amps, I wouldn't even do this. So proceed with caution. Don't do this if you're not comfortable with wiring, and consult a professional if you have any questions. SAE to LiTime. My camper came with this electrical plug on the side of the tongue box, and it came that way from the factory. I don't know if they still put those on, but on the inside you can see that it's got some wires already connected to it, and those wires were just sitting inside there dangling up until now. I finally found a use for it, and I went ahead and wired those to the battery terminals. And you can see here, that's the SAE connector that I had laying around, and I connected it to the 10 amp battery charger, which you can see with the green flashing light there. So green light means it's in standby mode, and I'm going to plug it in now to the side of the tongue box, see if we're getting a charge. Moment of truth. I heard it click on. And look at that, we have a red light, which means we are charging. I'm pretty happy about that. So we have one more task to accomplish before I declare this install complete. Hey, future editing Mike here, and I just wanted to jump on and mention one more thing, very important. When you're installing this lithium battery, you need to set up your solar charge controller and tell it that you now have a lithium battery installed. So that's very easy to do. Just go into the Victron app, go to settings, then select battery, then select battery preset, and if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see smart lithium as the option that you want to choose. So it's that easy. Now let's get back to the video. All right, it's not the prettiest setup, but I've got a 12 volt plug mounted to the inside of the tongue box. It's on there nice and secure. I had to add a spacer so that the prongs behind there, the wiring could fit and everything. So the idea is I'm going to plug in this 12-volt electric blanket in the really extreme cold weather to warm up this battery. I wanted to have a 12-volt socket in the tongue box anyway, in case I wanted to plug my refrigerator here. I just figured it would come in handy to have it. Just my overall thoughts on the battery so far. I think it's a very good quality battery. I think it's going to keep me out on longer trips and allow me to go even further. And it's going to be much more relaxing for me to be able to monitor the battery with the app on my phone. And I'm just really excited, and I think overall it's a big upgrade for my camper. So if you're interested in your own LiTime battery, there's a link in the description with a special price for Nowhere Bound viewers. Make sure you click the link. It will really help to support the channel. If you're interested in doing a little more, you can join us on Patreon. I would like to thank our existing Patreon subscribers for your continued support. Stay tuned for more camping adventure videos. We got a lot coming. So I will see you again nowhere soon. Be well to each other and get outside. Take care.